Sound, Mind, and Body is brought to you by Inform Fitness. Get a full body workout with slow motion, high-intensity strength training in just 20 minutes a week. For your free 20-minute workout and locations across the U.S., visit informfitness.com.
Hello and welcome to Sound, Mind, and Body, a podcast where we talk about how to stay healthy, balanced, and well of mind, body, and spirit in today's crazy world with a dash of woo-woo. I'm Sheila Melody, and today's guest is somebody that many of you probably know. I am super excited to have her on our podcast. I actually felt like I knew her 25 years before we met. Her name is Lisa May.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Lisa May.
I'm excited to be here.
You probably recognize her voice. Lisa May was on the Kevin and Bean show here in Los Angeles, the world-famous K-Rock in Los Angeles for 24 years.
A lifetime.
Yeah, I mean, you were in my life since when I moved to Los Angeles.
Oh, I like that.
And how we met was that I have a strength training studio. Mm-hmm. And Lisa May came in. I didn't know this for maybe about a month because she comes in and trains on Sundays.
Sunday mornings.
Yes, yeah. Which I'm never there on Sundays. But at one point I was looking at the schedule and I saw Lisa May on the schedule. And I asked my trainer, Joe, I said, Joe, is this Lisa May?
The Lisa May.
The
Lisa May.
Lisa May. Lisa May, Lisa May, Lisa May? You know, I mean, is it the Lisa May? And he's like, yeah, she's on the radio and everything. I'm like, oh my God.
That's
Lisa
so funny.
May is a client here. I'm so excited. Do you know, I feel like I've known her for a lifetime. So a few days later, she had come in and Joe had her record a little greeting for me.
That's right.
In that famous Lisa May voice. And he texted it to me. I got to tell you, that was one of the most satisfying moments. I'm like, yay!
You are
I like
so
literally
cute.
jumped up out of my chair. It's like, this is so exciting. So then we eventually did meet, and
Yes.
you're just...
And I knew I would like you instantly.
Oh.
I should say it a different way. I liked you instantly.
Oh, okay,
So then
yes.
we had lunch and couldn't stop talking.
No, we
you
could
just
not
know, right?
You do. You
kinda
just know.
click with someone.
I'm so excited. So you're now on the KLOS.
Yep. KLOS, Frosty, Heidi, and Frank in the mornings.
Great. And I listen to you when I'm driving in too,
Oh,
and that's
thank you.
wonderful. So I'm still continuing my relationship with Lisa May on the radio. But the reason you're here today, we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to talk about how you stay of sound, mind, and body in your life. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about a recent health diagnosis that you had. But let's start with, how did you get into broadcasting? When did you start? You must have started very young.
No, I was 28, which is really old to get into
Old?
radio. Yeah,
Really?
it is.
Oh.
A lot of people, you'll find out, never went to college, and they start really early.
Okay.
You don't need a college degree to
You
be on the
really
radio.
don't. Although I found it helps. I think it helps sometimes. But
Yeah.
you know, when I was in high school, did you have speech club in high school?
Yes.
We had that too. And it happened to be the thing that I was really, really good at for whatever reason. And I loved it. But I couldn't figure out how you would make a living at that. So when I went to college, I was a business major. But it was always in the back of my mind that there's something I want to do. I just don't know how to do it. So I went into finance and sales out of college, and I hated it the whole time.
I can't imagine you in finance and
It's
sales.
not good. And there was this school in LA called Los Angeles Broadcasters, the Lab.
Oh.
And it was kind of like the Columbia School of Broadcasting, but I think maybe on another level because local radio people taught there.
Okay.
And so I started going at night and on the weekends because I thought radio is a way that I could do that thing. I'm not an actress, I know that, but it's a way that I could use my voice and communicate and get a job. Most people get into radio for the music. That was not me.
Yeah.
It was about the
Just to talk.
communication, to talk.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And while I was there, I met someone who worked at Metro Traffic. And I ended up getting a job there, off air, and sort of worked my way into a little on-air I say little because when I started, there was a radio station in Orange County that was country music, and I was producing traffic for the other reporters, and then twice an hour, I would turn to the corner where there was a little transistor radio and a microphone, and I would do traffic reports for them, and then I'd go back to producing. So that's how I started. And my voice was really high because I've heard the tapes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think I was just nervous. So it was very high at the time.
Oh, my gosh. Do you have any pictures from that?
Oh, I do. I had curly red hair.
You should try. Can you give us one?
I'll try to find you one.
What about old air checks? You still have those staying around?
I might.
Oh, that would be fun if we could find one.
I'll have to find some.
It's so funny.
They're on cassettes. I don't even know how to play them.
Oh, he has a cassette player here.
Look at
because
you.
I have boxes and boxes of air checks in my shed.
Yes.
Oh, our producer Tim used to be on the radio. He was, as you can hear, his broadcasting voice.
He's got the voice. Yeah. We'll work on that.
We'll work on that.
We got to work on mine. I feel like this. No,
you sound great.
You do sound great.
So, well, okay, that's really. So, when you started doing traffic, were you in the a helicopter and do that whole thing?
I tried that once and I threw up.
Oh,
and
no.
I knew I would. I have terrible motion sickness. And a friend of mine said, if you could just go in the helicopter, you could be on TV. Because they put the camera in there.
Yeah,
and I was like,
true.
I can't do it. I know I can't do it. So we went up one day, and sure enough, I threw up. And I forgot that there was a microphone attached to the helmet.
No.
It was a mess.
Oh, no.
So, no, I never did that.
Okay.
But I love traffic, I have to say. Growing up in LA, in Orange County, traffic is everything. And I love that I know every way to get around things on the freeway. And when I see an accident on the other side, I'm like, oh my God, the 3 right lanes are blocked and there's a 5 mile back. I'm like, I get so worked up about
That's
it.
what it's like to drive with Lisa on the freeways, right?
I know you're talking. But did you, so when in the dawn of GPS and Waze and everything, has that helped anything in your opinion?
Well, I use Waze.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
Because I've always gotten lost. Always.
That's not what we want to hear from our traffic reporter.
I am dyslexic when it comes to directions. I mean, I do fine here because I know the mountains are north and the ocean is west. But when I was on the East Coast in Florida, I got so confused. I couldn't figure anything out.
You got to use
Georgia,
it.
and in Georgia, I was lost. I didn't have my mountains as my guide, and everything was flat there and green, so I had no clue where I was. And this was before GPSs, so it was a problem.
Oh, Waze has saved my life, honestly.
Well, the one thing they've said about Waze, though, is that it's bringing all this traffic into different neighborhoods that people are like, what are all these people doing here?
Because they're the shortcut. Yeah, that's true.
Shaving 10 minutes off their commute if they can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't really choose those because I'm tired. I'm sorry. I don't want to be going all these different little turns and this and that just to save 5 minutes.
Sometimes it takes you off the freeway literally to save 30 seconds.
Yeah, and you're just like, oh, sorry, Waze, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. But it really hasn't particularly affected my job, I think, because Waze may try to route you around something, but you also want to know why that freeway is closed or what's going on. And I always think it's also... Some stations don't want to talk about fatal accidents. I always do because I think I see people at 4:30 in the morning driving like crazy people, and I just want to remind people you can die.
Oh, that's important.
People die on our freeways every single day.
That's actually really important too, because it becomes almost like a respect thing too. It's like, you know what? Watch what you're doing here. And it's always, like you said, in the middle of the night when people can zoom around. And when I'm in traffic in the morning, I'm going like 20 miles an hour, I swear.
Nowhere to go.
Yeah. It's very hard to get into a fatal accident that way, but I'm sure it could happen. Yeah. I don't know. Anything can happen in LA.
Absolutely.
You've been doing broadcasting since you got into it.
Right.
You're still doing it. It's your career. So how did that change your day-to-day schedule?
Well, when I started, I'm trying to remember. I think I was doing middays when I first started. And then when I was able to get a full-time on-air shift, I went to a split shift.
Okay.
Which was hell. So that was 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then you leave. And then you come back and do 3 to 7.
Oh, my gosh.
Morning
really?
and afternoon drive.
Morning and afternoon
so you had to do both of the...
At the same station?
I was doing multiple stations for Metro Traffic. So I was on 5 different stations in LA. And you have a clock, and you would just do one at 15:15 and one at 20 after. And go around the clock. And all I remember is in the middle of the day, all I wanted to do was sleep.
Oh my gosh.
And things like laundry made me insane because it's like, I need to sleep.
Yeah.
Because you have to because by the time you get home, it was in Hollywood at the time. It was 8:00. And then you've got to get to bed by, 9 or 10 because you're up at 5. It was a hard schedule. And I did that for about 4 years. And then I went to just mornings. And so now for, 20 years, my schedule has been in the studio by 5 or 5:30 and then out by about 10.
Wow.
It's pretty nice.
It's hard to complain.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
But you still do, what time do you have to go to bed at night?
So if I want 8 hours of sleep, I go to bed at 7.
Oh my gosh. How can you do that?
I don't.
Yeah.
Because that's insane.
Because it's still light out in the summer. It's still light out.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Ambient.
I do have a blackout mask.
Oh, you do?
By the way, Tim, it's so funny you say that because I was listening to a Fresh Air podcast the other day with a sleep expert who said when you take those things, and I've been taking ZQL, your body is not recharging the way it would if you were just getting natural sleep. And that's really bumming me out.
Yeah, because it's I'm sure I'm sure it becomes a health thing.
Yeah,
it
turns out it is. So I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard
sleeping
to get enough
because
sleep.
But don't you naturally, when I did the morning show, my wife and I would have conversation at 7 or so at night. And she would tell me I would just fall asleep.
In the middle?
It's not that she was boring me. It was just because I had to get up at 3:30 in the morning.
What time do you get up?
I get up at 4.
4 o'clock.
And I'm out the door at 4:30.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, and I'm
But
there
then
by
you're done
5.
by before noon. You're done with your day,
I
basically.
know.
So
It seems like you could have a second job or something,
Except
right?
not that you
tired
want to
all
at this
day.
point,
Yeah.
right?
This is it. You're tired.
All the time.
I almost always need a nap.
Yeah.
I can't have a late night, really. We went to see Depeche Mode last week.
Oh, cool.
On a
How was
Thursday.
that? Oh, God. And that was like out on a school
It was
night.
at the Hollywood Bowl, and I kept saying, but it's a Thursday. It almost made me want to cry. I was so... But it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you,
can't
5 Hour
really-
Energy.
Oh, I'm
Well, talk
telling you-
about a health hazard, right?
You know what?
Well, I
Yeah?
don't drink coffee.
Okay.
So when
This-
I need something, I will have a swallow. Not
This
even
is
not a whole bottle.
This is not an ad, but I
No.
do remember you doing the 5 Hour Energy ads back in,
I
when you were on
did.
K-Rock. I
That's
remember
right.
Lisa May doing those. And then I just the other day, because I've had a really crazy few weeks here with family member being in the hospital, blah, 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 trying to do all these things. And I literally bought the 5 Hour Energy at the store the other day. I said, I'm doing it.
Did
I
you
don't
try
care.
it?
Yeah. And it actually didn't.
It works.
It wasn't that bad. It
but-
worked.
but-
it wasn't like, I used to call them 5 Hour Angries.
Oh, really? I could
Would
see
just
that.
make you short-tempered.
But it
Yeah.
depends. You have to, I don't ever drink a bottle. I have a swallow.
Oh, you just have a swallow. I
I
drank
have a
the whole
swallow.
little thing.
That would make me crazy.
5 Hour Angry.
Yeah, yeah. But I like it because you can regulate it. Like I can have one sip and then an hour or two later, if I'm feeling, I can have another sip. Whereas I gave up coffee for reasons we'll talk
I was
about.
just going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Do you drink coffee?
No.
Because, okay.
I stopped
Wow,
several
how
years
do you
ago.
do a morning show and not do... I never drank coffee, ever, until I got the morning show, and then it became a necessity.
Right.
And now here I am many, many years
It
later.
was
and
hard
can't
not
kick it.
doing it. Yeah.
Well, we'll talk. We'll
Okay.
get to that. But what I want to talk about before that is that you were in between jobs for a brief period of time, and you had told me that you
Yes.
It
was weird. It was the first time in just to catch everyone up, K-Rock fired me.
Oh my gosh.
I like how
I
you're
didn't want to
being
say
gentle.
it.
No, I say it. I'm fine.
Because they were
When you're in
I
radio,
guess
you get fired.
You do.
there was a huge backlash when you got fired, letting go, right?
It was lovely. A lot of people came out to
they were all upset.
they were really upset. Yeah.
They were
and
like,
it
"Where's
made me
our
feel
Lisa May?"
so good. You do this job, you get up and it's ha ha ha, yuck, yuck, yuck. And then you go home and you read about people who are helping people in the Haiti earthquake. And you go, I'm doing nothing.
Right, yeah.
But then people come out and they say, my mother died and I didn't laugh for 2 months. And then I started listening to you guys again. And it was the first time I'd laughed. And, you're like my family. And you realize that you are doing something that's
it's important. It's
kind
like
of important to people.
Yeah.
And that's just so nice to know.
Well, it was a huge backlash. I remember I'm like, what happened to Lisa May?
I was shocked. I never expected that kind of reaction.
So was it just like a sudden, no reason?
Well, the reason given was that they weren't going to do traffic anymore, but then they hired another woman to do what I had done. Minus the traffic.
Oh, I see.
So, I wasn't in for the discussions. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was out of work for 4 months.
Okay.
And it was stressful, obviously, because I needed another job.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to completely relax, but I did get to sleep in. And I discovered that 7 a.m. is my completely normal, natural time to wake up.
Without an alarm or anything.
Yeah.
Wow. And what time to go to bed? Like 11?
9?
9?
9:30.
Wow.
Yeah.
How nice was that?
Oh, it was fabulous.
That sounds amazing. So coming up, Lisa tells us how she transitioned from navigating traffic to navigating a health issue. On our next episode, I sit down with my very good friend, Wendy Dio, widow of the late great heavy metal singer Ronnie James Dio, for an intimate conversation on her extraordinary life.
And then when Ronnie got cancer, he had said, well, when I get through this, because we never thought that he was going to pass away. We thought we were going to kill it. We used to call it killing the dragon. We used to go to Houston every 2 weeks and we would skip down the halls and say, we're killing the dragon, we're killing the dragon. Anyway, he said when he got well, he wanted to make sure we did something with the cancer. So when he passed away, his doctor, Dr. Sandy Kapoor, who went to Houston with us and it was amazing, he and I formed the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund.
Next week on Sound, Mind, and Body.
Hey, it's Tim Edwards, founder of the Inbound Podcasting Network and producer of Sound, Mind, and Body. If you're a regular listener of the podcast, you know that Sheila asks all of her guests how they stay of sound, mind, and body. Well, in part, my answer is my once-a-week high-intensity workout at Sheila's strength training studio, Inform Fitness in Toluca Lake. That's right, I said once a week, and here's the best part. It's only for about 20 to 30 minutes. However, it's not an easy-peasy half an hour, that's for sure. The workout is pretty intense, but it's extremely safe because my trainer Joe is guiding me the entire time. All of the movements are in slow motion and are in perfect form, hence the name, Inform Fitness. The workout's also quite effective. At the time of this recording, I'm 50 years old, and at my age, I should be getting weaker, but I'm not. I'm getting stronger every single week. You'll hear Sheila say several times here in the podcast that strength care is health care. Check it out for yourself. There's a free session waiting for you at informfitness.com. Click the button Try Us Free right there on the homepage. Fill out the form and enjoy a slow-motion, high-intensity, full-body workout in just 20 minutes. On the website, you'll also see that this offer applies to all Inform Fitness locations across the country. For a list of those locations, tons of videos, and information regarding the Power of 10 workout, visit informfitness.com.
We're back, and we're talking to Lisa May of KLOS. So, Lisa, explain how you first noticed that you may have a health issue.
I started feeling incredibly tired, like way beyond anything I'd ever experienced. This fatigue would hit me around 2 p.m, and I felt like no matter where I was, I needed to just lay down on the floor.
Oh my
gosh. I couldn't go another step. I've never had that experience before. I also was having what I call like a free-floating anxiety. If I would lay down to take a nap in the afternoon, as I'd start to drift off, this like anxiety would zing through my body and wake me up. And it would also happen at night when I was trying to go to sleep. And it was such a weird, creepy feeling. And I didn't know what that was. My hair started thinning. My mom noticed that and was like, your hair looks dead. You know how moms are.
Yeah, right.
It's like, what? What's happening?
Was this before were you still working at
Yes.
K-Rock?
But I'll tell you what was going on at the time. My mom's husband he'd been in congestive heart failure for years, but he took a turn. And I started going to Costa Mesa from the Valley every weekend. I'd pack up before I went to work on Friday. I'd stay with them for the weekend, drive them around, do whatever they needed, and then come home on Sunday afternoons. And I did that for 8 months.
Wow.
Not every single weekend, but most weekends. And that is hard.
Wiped you out, I'm sure.
Oh, my God.
Emotionally and physically.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I think that was the trigger.
A lot of low-grade chronic stress.
Yes. Such a huge problem. And I finally went to my doctor and said, can you do, I explained, like, I'm gaining weight. I'm so tired. My hair. Do a full thyroid panel, please. And I don't think he did.
Okay.
He did a thyroid panel, and he said, you're fine, go to Weight Watchers.
You're fine. Yeah. Oh, my God. You're kidding me.
By the way, every year that I saw him, he was getting fatter. I just want to say. Not to point fingers.
Oh,
but come
my
on.
God.
So I'd already been into the paleo diet for a couple of years, and that was my attempt to lose weight, which I didn't. But I had cleaned up my eating quite a bit. And I had started to learn about like naturopaths and integrative doctors and other things could be going on. So I went to a naturopath who did a full thyroid panel and said, you have Hashimoto's. She tested for pathogens. It turned out I have H. pylori, which is a bacteria.
Oh, okay. I'm aware of what that is.
Okay. It affects the lining of your stomach.
Uh-huh.
And they want to put you on antibiotics to cure it, but that is terrible for your gut.
Right.
So my doctor actually had me order this tea from Africa that I had to drink twice a day, every day. Uh-huh. And my boyfriend had to too, because we could pass it back and forth.
I see. Okay.
And the first time I didn't get rid of it, and the second time I did.
Oh, okay. So it's gone now.
Yeah, it's gone now. But they test for yeast, like SIBO.
Oh, right.
So many things that parasites.
Yes.
There's all these things that you should be tested for.
And that is
all of this
connected to the Hashimoto's diagnosis?
It can be, because Hashimoto's is caused by several things, but basically it's inflammation. It's your body attacking your thyroid.
Oh,
so
I
it is
see.
an autoimmune disease. But all autoimmune diseases are your body attacking some part of your body.
Okay.
So mine just happened to be my thyroid.
Okay.
And inflammation is the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues. And a lot of it is caused by toxins in your environment.
Right.
So,
yeah.
What you clean with, what you put on your face.
Now, have you had to like clean out your whole house and everything
I
like that?
have not gotten to that point. I'm working on it. Like, I'm starting to use more natural skincare. But the biggest thing for me was the food. Pulling out. So there's a diet called Autoimmune Protocol, AIP.
Okay.
And I went on to that. And it sounds so strict, but you pull out all of the foods that could potentially be inflammatory for you. So it's grains, gluten, dairy,
sugar,
nuts, seeds, processed foods.
Right, all processed foods.
This is where that would come from. Soy, eggs. A lot of people have a reaction to egg whites.
Oh.
It's really, it's quite surprising, all of the things. And then you'll discover, once you do that, then you'll discover there are other things in your diet that, like, I don't eat bananas because they mess with my blood sugar. I'm more hungry an hour after I've eaten a banana than I ever was before I ate it.
Oh, interesting.
And there's other foods that, what's another food?
Now, what do you eat?
And nightshades,
nightshades,
tomatoes, potatoes.
yes.
How do they test for that? What do they do?
Well, what you do is you take it all out and you wait anywhere between 3 and 6 months.
Wow.
Depending on your, if you have rheumatoid arthritis and
might
you're having
go
joint
drastic,
pain, you may feel relief within a few days, and that's very encouraging. My symptoms were less severe. Like, I mentioned the anxiety and the tiredness, and also what they call brain fog.
Yes,
which
I had the brain fog.
Yeah, you feel like there's like a I describe it as like a helmet around my whole head, and I'm like the world is there, but I can't quite reach it, and I couldn't concentrate well, and
it's like a dream state.
Yes,
yeah, and you're just like I've felt like I was observing myself go through my life.
Yes,
like.
It's weird.
I'm like an observer watching me go through my life, but I'm not really there.
You're not really there. Yeah. So those are my symptoms. But if I was crippled, I think I would be.
Oh, yeah. You would be like real drastic.
100%.
Yeah.
But I've done my best. I will say that. So then what you do is you introduce one food at a time.
Okay.
And I did that with eggs. And what I discovered was I'm very tired about 45 minutes to an hour after eating eggs, I get really tired and then I start to get a headache.
Oh,
And
I should
so
probably
you
try this.
Take it back out and then you wait a few days and you do another food. And the thing is, the more your gut heals, the more of those foods you'll be able to eat. But some foods you'll never be able to eat.
And it's just through eliminating.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
And
I mean, I've done the test where they think that they can test for food sensitivities.
Right.
And I have not found it to be very accurate.
Oh, really? Okay.
Are you talking about the test where you're lying down and they put in vials various spices and herbs on certain parts of your body, on your skin?
No,
that's
I
allergy
and you respond
testing.
to tension. I actually went through that about a year ago, and it seemed to really work for me.
Really?
The problem is I didn't stick with it, but I was seeing a nutritionist, and she would do this type of testing. It helped me eliminate various foods from my diet, and I felt better, lost some weight, and was able to get rid of the brain fog that you were talking about and some of the fatigue issues that I was having, just because my body didn't like eggs.
Was it eggs too? Was it eggs?
Yeah, it was eggs and bananas.
Oh,
We're
We're cut
related
from that's
in
right.
some way.
no eggs and no
No
bananas.
eggs and no bananas.
I got to tell you, going
I
out
don't
to
eat
breakfast
bananas.
sucks.
Oh my god!
No gluten, no eggs, no bananas, no grains. Like, what do you eat?
Lunch.
But is there? So you can't
Bacon
have
and a fruit bowl.
you can't have the tofu egg
no,
thing.
soy.
No,
it's soy. That's right. Yeah, it gets very like what the hell can you eat?
You know, you do learn, like I've learned that the simplest foods are the easiest for me. So really, like, God bless my boyfriend, he barbecues most nights, and we have steak and we have fish and we have chicken and we roast vegetables, and my breakfast is my lunch is my dinner. There's no difference.
Oh.
Yeah, they're pretty much all the same. There is no such thing as just a breakfast food for me anymore.
Okay.
So it's not that hard.
Do you get bored?
I don't. I can imagine that people do. But I have to say, like, I'm going to Cabo in a couple of weeks, and it's all bets off. There are just times when I'm like,
Agreed.
I
know.
need nachos.
Right. Well, and if you're in Cabo, especially, you're going to like, and that's what I did when I first got my diagnosis. I had a trip planned to go to Provence, to France for the first time.
Oh my God.
And so I got this diagnosis like a couple weeks before that. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting the medication, but I drank wine every single day. I ate cheese. I ate bread, everything like that. Because I was like, I'm in Provence. I'm going to enjoy myself. And when I came back and I went to the nutritionist, I told him, I said, okay, I got this diagnosis, da-da-da. And then I promptly went to France and, did everything wrong. And he goes, oh, you probably lost weight, didn't you? And I said, well, I don't even know because I don't weigh myself anymore because it will make me crazy. And he said, most of my clients, if they go to Europe and they just drink wine or eat bread or all the cheese, all that stuff, he said they don't gain weight. They don't have the same reaction because they don't have all those GMOs and things there.
Oh my God. 100% right. I have read of women and men who have celiac disease or a sensitivity. Maybe I shouldn't push it too far. Maybe a sensitivity to gluten. Go to Italy, eat the pasta, and they're fine.
Yeah, because he was telling me about the way that they produce their wheat there and all that.
It's different.
We just, it's not good here.
It's not just GMOs. It's our crossbreeding of grasses and wheat. There was a book called Wheat Belly that goes into this.
Oh, yes, Wheat Belly. Yes.
It's fascinating.
It's not your grandma's wheat anymore.
It's not. And people poo-poo this whole gluten thing, but I'm telling you, they're like, well, why everybody thinks they have it now? That's because everybody has it now.
Right.
Because we're not eating the same foods at all.
I kind of feel like there's something to do with that, the same thing with the thyroid. I feel like I'm hearing about Hashimoto's and thyroid imbalances from like at least 1 or 2 out of every 4 people. I swear at least 50% of the people I know have something.
They say that 1 in 5 Americans has an autoimmune disease. If you have one, your chances of getting another are pretty likely. As far as as far as all autoimmune conditions, it's way more women than men.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder
the
why
vast
that
majority.
is.
I don't know.
Maybe because do you think there's a whole emotional element to it?
Could be. I mean, chronic stress, we brought that up, is a big factor. Also genetics, because I had 3 people in my family with rheumatoid arthritis, polymyalgia, and Parkinson's.
Oh, wow.
So definitely I had the tendency, but I just didn't know about any of this stuff at the time.
So now once you have the diagnosis, that's it? You have it for life? Or what do you do?
I don't think generally you cure it. I think you can maybe put it into remission. There's a woman named Terry Wahls, Dr. Terry Wahls, who has a book called The Wahls Protocol. She was in a wheelchair with MS.
Wow.
And she essentially used food as medicine. And that book is all about what she did in her diet. And she's not in a wheelchair anymore. She's not cured, but she's functioning in a way that she wasn't before. Wow. And no doctor, this is the thing with most doctors, they don't ever tell you to do. Did your doctor say, by the way, your diet is probably causing some of this?
No, your nutritionist did.
Now, that's why I went to a nutritionist, because I actually, I have tried to be healthy, and I read all these books, and I've tried all these diets and everything, and so I'm aware of all that, and I've tried to be, I have been mostly gluten-free, because I did discover that gluten caused my different digestion process for me. And I also discovered, I have this guy, he's the equipment guy that gives us our equipment at the strength training studio. He's just our equipment maintenance guy and everything. He's old school, super slow trainer. And he is like a stickler about food and what it does to your body. And he's always been that way. And I remember when I was training with him, he would be like, I'd be like, oh, my knee hurts. And he's like, well, what'd you eat yesterday? And I'm like, what are you talking about? My knee just like tweaked, what does that have to do with and he would say, oh, I ate a cupcake yesterday and threw my back out. Now I have to go to the, and I was like, what? You're crazy, Yeah. And then I started to notice that when I was like getting up in the morning, I'd lean over and I'd be like, oh, like my back was killing me like an old lady. And I noticed that when I stopped eating gluten, that went away. Wow. And so I went, oh my gosh, I think he's kind of right. Like it's an inflammation thing. That's what it's all about, right?
I really think, for people, you get older and you start to feel aches and pains. And I had a knee problem and you think, oh, it's just getting older. And maybe not. I would tell people always start with food.
Right.
Start there. Get that cleaned up and then see where that takes you. And then you can move on from there and see, what else you can do. Like my knee really was bothering me. And I went to a place called Egoscue. Pete Egoscue started this method of exercise to work on your alignment. And they took a picture of me and they put it against a graph. And like my whole upper torso was twisted to the right and my shoulders were off and like one leg kind of does this thing. And it was my back pulling because I have some scoliosis, and they said your back is really strong, and we have to reteach it to stop pulling everything.
Oh, wow.
So I had all these series of exercises I was doing, and my knee is great.
Oh, you're kidding.
And I never worked on my knee.
See, it's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
But I would just say don't settle for this stuff.
Yeah, right. Don't settle. You're right.
Yeah.
And so when you do go off the wagon or, when you fall off the wagon, do you have like a bad,
For me, it's not too bad.
Okay.
Now, again, if I had terrible symptoms, I probably would have worse reactions and I would be better about it. But I've also heard that the fact that you're out and you're having fun and you're relaxed and you're stress-free can balance that out a little bit. So there are times, depending, of course, on what you're dealing with, but there are times when it's okay to just go and have fun. And let loose.
Yeah.
That it may balance out.
There's definitely something to do with that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. So before we let you go, though, I got to ask you the 4 questions that I ask all my guests. So the first one is, what's a favorite sound?
I thought of 2. One is just the wind in the leaves.
Oh, I love that.
I love that sound. And also my Chihuahua does this thing. Sometimes when he inhales, it kind of catches. So it's like a... I don't know what the sound is, but every time he does that, I just go, it just kills me. I don't know.
Oh my God.
The cutest.
That's so cute. I love it. Okay. Favorite memory.
My sister and I growing up, we had this lovely den with all these cabinets and stuff, and we would lay out all my mom's old jewelry and play store. And we would play records in there and sing. And we also had this little machine that you'd put like an empty Coke bottle, fill it with water, and put it in this thing. And then you'd fill up little glasses with water. And we'd sell each other glasses of water.
Little glasses of.
I think we're little entrepreneurs, but
Oh,
I
how
love those
cute.
times. We just had,
You just
growing
remember
up,
it.
and I remember just being creative.
Oh,
all
I
the
love
time.
that. Like it was, you had your own world. You
Yeah,
built. That's
completely.
wonderful. Okay, favorite place. What's a favorite place for you?
Well, I love Cabo.
Oh,
And Belize. The first time I went to Belize, I was like, this is it. It's amazing.
I have to go.
So beautiful. Yeah. Those would
Okay,
be my favorite
Belize
places.
and Cabo. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm on the bucket list now. Okay, final question.
Yes.
What's the most woo-woo thing you've ever done?
Well, I'll tell you the woo-woo thing I'm doing.
Okay.
I am trying to learn about essential oils.
Oh, I love that.
And it's complicated. It's a complicated world. And some people are kind of crazy
Yes.
in there because I'm not sure it can cure cancer, but I mean, there are legitimate studies about what this stuff does, and people have been using it for thousands of years.
Is it complicated because you have to have the right mixtures and ratios?
It's very complex.
Well, and the FDA doesn't allow the companies that sell them to make promises. Right?
They can't say no testimonials. They can't say anything. Well, are you involved with doTERRA? Because that's
Young Living.
Oh, Young Living. Okay, there's
are the
like
two biggies, I
Because I
think.
actually bought myself a little set of essential oils as well, because I believe that we have to take our health into our own hands
Yeah.
to a certain extent these days because of all the crap going on with the healthcare system, and you
Yeah.
can't get any help from them, basically. So I'm learning too. I ordered this book. I'll tell you about the book. It's a big, giant book,
Okay.
and it has like an encyclopedia of, you look up a symptom and then what the essential oil that can help with it.
I love this stuff. I don't know. I started diffusing some, and I thought, I don't know what it is, but I love this.
I love them,
There's something
too.
I really
So
love
when you say
about
diffuse
this.
it, you mean literally put it in the air and be able
Yeah,
to breathe
there's
it
a
in like
diffusers.
Okay.
And you put it like 8 drops in some
Water.
and it just
And
shoots
it
up this mist.
shoots up a mist
Like
of
aromatherapy?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's aromatherapy.
exactly that.
And
It's
can you also
exactly
apply
that.
the essential oils
Yes.
topically as well too?
Yeah.
And, But don't ingest them.
No, some you can ingest.
I'm ingesting lemon even now.
Lemon in
As
the
we
water,
speak.
right?
As we speak.
Yes.
He's ingesting lemon.
In my
As
water.
we speak. There's some that are basically, actually, I'm going to have Kathy Painter, who is a naturopath, and she's very knowledgeable about the essential oils. I'm going to have her on as a guest in a couple weeks.
Excellent.
So she's going to talk about all that, and she's She's told me a lot of just little things, like take lavender oil and you put it on the bottoms of your feet before you go to bed. Just a little bit
To
of
help you sleep?
a couple drops. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Bottoms of your feet is a very big thing. Like you can put peppermint oil in the morning on the bottoms of your feet, and that helps kind of wake you up.
That
So
makes sense to me.
I'm doing
coffee.
little things.
Stomp around in some peppermint oil.
I still need the coffee. But
We'll work on that.
anyway, thank you so much, Lisa May.
It was so much fun.
And that's it for this episode. Have you had a thyroid diagnosis? It seems a lot of people have these days. Let us know your story. Email us or send us a voice memo at podcast@soundmindbodypodcast.com. Thanks for listening. And please subscribe if you haven't already. And if you like the podcast, give us a review on iTunes. It really helps new listeners find us. Thank you to our producer, Tim Edwards, and the Inbound Podcasting Network. Get in touch. I'm on Instagram at ShiShiMelody and on Twitter at SheilaMelody1. Or find us on Facebook. Search for Sound Mind Body Podcast. I'm Sheila Melody. Join us next week as we explore, enlighten, and evolve.